China's political scene has long been infamous for the saying, right after the meeting, straight to prison. But when figures like He Weidong, Lin Xiangyang, and Miao Hua, three pillars of Xi Jinping's inner military circle, began to vanish from the spotlight one after another, the nation couldn't help but shudder at the scale and speed of the storm sweeping through the Chinese military. This isn't just about individuals falling from grace. It's a sign of an intense power struggle, one so fierce that even Xi's personally appointed confidants are no longer safe. He Weidong, vice chairman of the Central Military Commission and effectively the third most powerful man in China's military, had been missing for over 2 weeks by the end of March 2025. Rumors of his arrest began circulating on March 13th, and U.S. intelligence agencies found these claims credible. When Defense Ministry spokesperson Wu Qian responded with, "I'm not aware of the situation," it only added fuel to the fire. Before that, Lin Xiangyang, commander of the Eastern Theater Command, China's frontline force against Taiwan, also disappeared on the afternoon of March 24th, according to commentator Kai Shenkun. And let's not forget Miao Hua, director of the Political Work Department of the Central Military Commission, who was suspended back in November 2024 for serious disciplinary violations. These names are no coincidence. All three are loyal protégés, groomed by Xi from his political cradle in Fujian, a group often referred to as the Fujian Clique, the foundation of his military network. Looking at their rapid rise, it's hard not to be impressed. Lin Xiangyang rose from Major General in 2013 to General in 2021, faster than a missile launch. He Weidong, once the commander of the 31st Group Army, climbed to Vice Chairman of the Central Military Commission, becoming a godfather figure within Xi's circle. Miao Hua, in charge of ideological control in the army, was the torchbearer of loyalty to Xi. These weren't just generals. They were hand-picked loyalists placed in key positions to solidify Xi's grip on power. Yet now, all three have fallen in under 6 months. This is no minor event. When the biggest dominoes in Xi's inner circle start to topple, one can't help but wonder, how many cards does Xi still have left in his hand? This saga echoes some of the darkest chapters in Chinese Communist Party history. During Mao Zedong's era, Lin Biao, once seen as his successor, died tragically in a mysterious plane crash. Under Deng Xiaoping, Hu Yaoban, and Zhao Ziyan, both personally endorsed by him, were purged without mercy. History seems to be repeating itself, only this time with a pace and scale that's even more chilling. If even loyalists like He Weidong, Lin Xiangyang, and Miao Hua can't survive, how shaky has Xi Jinping's seemingly unbreakable power base become? The collapse of the Fujian clique and the rise of the Shaanxi clique. To understand why these three powerhouses fell, we must look deeper into the silent war raging within China's military, a ruthless battlefield between the Fujian clique and the Shaanxi clique. Contrary to popular belief, the Central Military Commission, CMC, the highest military authority, is not a monolithic entity under Xi Jinping's control. It is a complex web of interests where factions silently vie for dominance. The Fujian clique, comprising He Weidong, Lin Xiangyang, Miao Hua, and even Defense Minister Dong Jun, was handpicked and groomed by Xi during his time in Fujian. These were his most loyal subordinates, fast-tracked into top positions to replace the old guard. The 31st Group Army, Xi's launching pad in Fujian, was the birthplace of this iron triangle. But that triangle is now shattered. Miao Hua fell in November 2024, He Weidong vanished in mid-March 2025, and Lin Xiangyang was reportedly arrested on March 24th. The Chinese military's inner circle is now a bloody storm. As commentator Zhao Longjian revealed that between March 13 and 23, as many as 100 to 200 senior officers were purged, a number that would shake even fans of palace intrigue dramas. The plot reads like tit-for-tat revenge. You purge my men, I strike back. The rival faction, the Shaanxi clique, is led by Zhang Youxia, the remaining vice chairman of the CMC, and a second red generation, offspring of revolutionary veterans, with deep military roots. Zhang's father was a comrade in arms of Xi Jinping, Xi Jinping's father, creating a revolutionary brotherhood between their families. For years, Zhang enjoyed Xi Jinping's utmost trust as an unshakable ally within the military. But in politics, trust can quickly become a blade. While the Fujian clique fell one by one and Xi remained unusually silent, Zhang Youxia rose to prominence, making frequent public appearances at meetings, military inspections, and delivering speeches, an unmistakable contrast. What made Zhang switch sides? Perhaps it was political survival. He likely realized he could easily become the next target in Xi's purge strategy. But it wasn't just self-preservation. Zhang also holds something Xi lacks: the support of military generals. As one of the few veterans of the Vietnam War, he commands respect as a seasoned warrior. During his time commanding the Beijing and Shenyang military regions, Zhang played a masterstroke, developing military land and allowing officers to buy housing at reduced prices, which they could then resell on the market. This turned many officers into overnight millionaires and built him a vast loyalty network, especially in the northern and central military zones. While Xi used rapid promotions to consolidate power through his Xi army, thereby disrupting traditional advancement systems and angering veteran generals, Zhang opted for tangible rewards, winning hearts from the grassroots up. That support allowed him to control the Central Guard Bureau and the defense zone around Beijing, making him a formidable force. A subtle but telling detail lies in the difference between public statements. He Weidong pledging loyalty to Xi Jinping, while Zhang Youxia emphasized loyalty to the party. This indicates Zhang isn't just shielding himself. He's reframing power around the party's supremacy over the gun, a long-held principle of the CCP that Xi has sought to bend for personal control. When the PLA Daily repeatedly underscores collective leadership and opposition to autocracy, it reeks of an open rebellion in the making. Looking back at two major military purges since 2023, a pattern of tit-for-tat retaliation becomes clear. The first wave targeted the Shaanxi clique, taking down Lin Xiangyang, former defense minister, and the rocket force leadership. But just when it seemed Xi's faction had triumphed, the second wave turned on the Fujian clique, dragging down Miao Hua, Dong Jun, reportedly under investigation, and now He Weidong and Lin Xiangyang. Expert Gordon G. Chang, writing in The Hill, called this a sign of intense infighting, an all-out counterattack by Xi's rivals to reclaim military power. The PLA is no longer a tool in one man's hands, but a battlefield of factions, and Xi Jinping is slowly losing the upper hand. Xi Jinping, from lifetime emperor to a leader cornered. Xi Jinping was once hailed as the most powerful Chinese leader since Mao Zedong. In 2018, he amended the constitution to abolish term limits, paving the way for his dream of becoming a leader for life. By 2023, he secured an unprecedented third term, despite health rumors and silent dissent within the party. But now, as his trusted allies He Weidong, Lin Xiangyang, and Miao Hua fall from grace one after another, people are starting to ask, how much of Xi's former glory actually remains? Take a closer look at the roles of these vanishing figures. Lin Xiangyang wasn't just the commander of the Eastern Theater Command, he was the strategic mastermind behind Xi's long-held ambition of militarily unifying Taiwan. He Weidong, as vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, oversaw the entire military apparatus and ensured the generals' loyalty. Miao Hua, in charge of political ideology, served as the spiritual backbone of Xi's inner military circle. Their collective downfall has not just shaken Xi's military foundation, it's all but collapsed it. This isn't a case of Xi proactively cleansing the ranks to reinforce his power. If it were, he wouldn't have allowed key figures like Lin Xiangyang, who was entrusted with the critical Taiwan operation, to become casualties. So why hasn't Xi struck back? Following the third plenum in 2024, when rumors of a stroke began to circulate, a wave of purges swept through Xi's circle. And yet, Zhongnanhai, China's political epicenter, remained eerily silent. One theory suggests Xi is deliberately lying low, feigning weakness to bait his opponents into revealing themselves. But that theory is hard to buy. This is the same man who rewrote the constitution to stay in power indefinitely, who forcibly removed Hu Jintao from the 20th Party Congress. He's not someone who gives up easily. A more likely scenario? Xi has truly been cornered, lacking the strength to resist the growing counteroffensive from internal rivals. One of the clearest signs came in October 2024, during the National Day banquet, when retired heavyweights like Wen Jiabao and Li Ruihuan made unexpected appearances, standing among the Politburo's standing committee members. A subtle message that Xi no longer holds absolute power. Another major blow came when Chen Guoqiang, Xi's so-called #1 enforcer in the military, was demoted to political commissar of the National Defense University shortly after the third plenum. Even Xi's sharpest knives are now being blunted. When Xi showed up in Guizhou on March 25, 2025, with a head full of gray hair and remarked, "At the 20th Party Congress, we established a central leadership team to carry on and develop. This ensures that even if I retire due to health reasons, the central leadership will remain stable." The air was heavy with the feel of a final farewell. When even Zhang Youxia, the vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, turned his back on Xi during the closing session of the National People's Congress on March 11th, it became clear Xi Jinping's days at the top may be numbered. As military power crumbles, the dream of forcible reunification fades. The downfall of He Weidong, Lin Xiangyang, and Miao Hua isn't just a matter of internal Chinese Communist Party politics. It has far-reaching implications for the international stage, particularly China's long-standing ambition to reunify Taiwan by force. Lin Xiangyang, as commander of the Eastern Theater Command, was in charge of monitoring the Taiwan Strait. He Weidong, as vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, oversaw major military strategies. With both men suddenly disappearing, Xi Jinping's dream of reunifying Taiwan through military means has been all but choked off. Let's take a look at the recent context. China's much-hyped Exercise B in 2024 began with fanfare, but fizzled out abruptly, without any official statements from the Ministry of Defense, a highly unusual move. Meanwhile, under President Lai Ching-te, Taiwan has passed 17 national security provisions, labeling China as a hostile foreign force and strengthening defense cooperation with the United States. On March 20th, 2025, the U.S. Director of National Intelligence released a report exposing the Xi family's multi-billion-dollar fortune, further damaging his credibility on the world stage. With internal chaos mounting, China can no longer sustain military pressure on Taiwan, and the path toward forcible reunification appears to have closed. Back at home, the rise of Zhang Youxia Shaanxi Clique signals a new trend, a possible return to the principle that the party commands the gun, rather than the military serving Xi Jinping personally. By taking control of the Central Guard Bureau and Beijing's Strategic Defense Zone, Zhang hasn't just defeated the Fujian clique. He has positioned himself to influence the political fate of China's top leadership. History offers a precedent. In 1976, Hua Guofeng and Ye Jianying used the Central Guard Bureau to arrest the Gang of Four in just 35 minutes. Is Zhang Youxia preparing for a similar scenario? Xi Jinping now resembles a king trapped in his own palace. With his loyal lieutenants falling, military authority slipping away, and rivals like Zhang on the rise, Xi's power is no longer untouchable. From dreaming of being a leader for life, he now finds himself on the verge of being abandoned by history. The question is no longer how much power Xi still holds, but how long he can survive this political storm. What do you think about the disappearances of He Weidong and Lin Xiangyang and the current state of Xi Jinping? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.